Excuse me, a little, please, so that we communicate.
Allô? Oui. Je disais juste qu'il faudrait...
I was saying that I think next time we should avoid this type of situation. Believe maybe the speaker intervened because the colleague from Nigeria was the one speaking. I don't think that is in order. I think that the next time we should allow any honorable member who has the floor to speak. It doesn't matter who is speaking. It doesn't give anyone the right to speak because his countryman is speaking. I don't think that's the right way to go. Thank you.
You are completely misunderstanding what really happened. He is not supposed to be the person that we should have responded to the issues raised by our procedure. But because he raised the issue and I felt we should not just jump there, and that's why I tried to clarify. And I have done nothing, and I want to repeat nothing unparliamentary. Please. Honorable Zago Stephen.
Please? Okay, fine. Mr. President, thank you so much. Let me, like other colleagues, thank the three countries for their report. Mr. President, if you listen to the reports keenly, there is a recurring issue that borders on insecurity, terrorism. It cut across all of the countries. None of us are immune from it. I think it is of concern to us as a people in the country. Several years back, I remember the first president of Ghana, Osanjefun Kwame Nkrumah, said that the independence of an African state is insufficient if all of Africa is not free. Today we have insecurity, terrorism permeating our sub-region. None of us are immune. The issue is now if terrorists will attack. The issue is when and how prepared we'll be. There is what we have called the National Center for the Coordination of Response Mechanism in West Africa. We need to harness it in ways and manner that it becomes so viable to help security within the sub-region. If we do not do this, no sooner our people will start to leave areas of habitat, all because of insecurity. We need to do this. In Europe, they got the Interpol 247 system. Terrorists will now find a hidden spot because they create the condition that will make it impossible for them. But some of the challenges we have here, take for example, like in Burkina Faso. Where does the terrorists come from to hit it? At times they have habitat, they have people that will accommodate them. We need to improve on this. If we do not do this, we have a challenge as a country, we have a challenge as a continent and the region. So considering the fact that all of the three countries report border, primarily most of them spoke about the issue of security and insecurity in our border area, I think we need to look at that critically to enable us be able to enhance the ECOWAS joint border patrol project that we have, so as to curtail some of the issues as evidence of what was reported in the TV report, specifically in Burkina Faso. Mr. President, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Honorable Ramatu Maeki, you have the floor.
Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to, first of all, applaud the delegations of the three countries for their presentation this morning. My concerns have already been raised by the previous speakers, especially the last one with respect to security. I believe he has captured it all. My second concern has to do with community levy. and Nigeria. On that too, everything has been said, so there is nothing to add with respect to areas. Someone has already highlighted it, and so I will make way for the next person. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Honorable Masiani has the floor. Masiani.
Muito obrigado, Senhor Presidente.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Let me congratulate the colleague MPs that presented the reports. The question I have is directed at Benin. The point number one, that is the political situation, especially the political reforms. They pointed out some of the items. That's item number 4, which says elimination of number of MPs that couldn't exceed 3. That for me is very vague. I don't know what it really means. Is it 3 mandates or 3 terms? What is it? Can they clarify, please? Thank you.
Distinguished colleagues from the countries that have just presented the report, you have the floor to respond. Starting with Burkina Faso.
Bien, merci Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Burkina Faso has been asked some questions by Honorable Koni by the MVP, which he calls pro-government militias. These people, the volunteers for the defense of the fatherland, are recognized in a law passed in July 2020, and that's to say that this militia are backed by an enabling law. And I'd like to say that these VDPs are part of defense and security forces who voluntarily offer their services for the protection and security of their villages and their hamlets. So, but they are not allowed by law to go beyond their villages. And so they operate only within their villages where they reside. This needs to be clear. And then these people receive a monthly stipend. And so we believe that with the advent of terrorism, these young people could operate from their villages to safeguard these villages. I think this is different from what obtained in Cote d'Ivoire, where you had a rebellion against which government was fighting. So I don't know if you are satisfied with this response. And that is what I have to say with response with regards to the VDP. In any case, I would like to add that their contract is for a 1-year renewable. That is, they operate for 1 year, and if there are further attacks in their villages, the contract will not be renewed. But if there is no attack, then it will be renewed for another 1 year. That's what I have to say with respect to that. Thank you.
J'en ai fini, Monsieur le Président.
I didn't get what you said last. Okay, thank you very much. Pablo Benin.
Oui, merci.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, honorable colleagues, for the interest shown in Benin's report. Thank you for your words of encouragement and congratulations. First of all, I'll respond to 2 questions, and my colleague, Honorable Bida, would complete the rest. I would like to say something about things that was silent in the report. There are 2 positive incidents that happened. First of all, the return of our cultural heritage that were pillaged by colonial masters. This is something that started under President Patrice Talon in 2016, and through a letter which he communicated to his French counterpart. So it's important that we say that this cultural reclaim has set the tone for the sub-region to make similar demands, because the ECOWAS sub-region has been working along this line for the return of their cultural heritage. And in any case, the European Union borrowed a leaf from the Republic of Benin, by initiating moves for the return of their cultural artifacts on the African continent. On the issue of women, since May, 3 tests and amendments to the laws concerning the rights of women were initiated. The first one is that we modified the Family and People's Code in Benin in order to give the Beninese woman to freely choose with her husband to add her family name to the name of the child, so that together that could represent a complete family name. And then we have met the conditions of the law on reproductive and sexual health, and we have voluntary pregnancy laws that permit voluntary pregnancies. We also have a law that reflects or that captures violence done against women, that also introduce new penalties, especially where you have a situation of amorous affairs between teachers and their students, especially in students, which we believe affects learning, especially in universities. And then we also have a National Women Institute, which henceforth has the right to oversee the enforcement of all these measures all over the country, and then the promotion of women's rights in every sphere of government, especially in government and various ministries, and also to ensure that women quota is duly given to them at all strata of the society. Now, with respect to maritime piracy, indeed, there has been a drastic reduction in this incident, and this is owing to the fact that for the past year or 2, we have insisted that each vessel that is approaching our waters should have a kind of a strike force on board to dissuade pirates, and so they should get a dedicated force to repel these pirates. And then we also have a rapid response team on these waters, and that's why over the last 1 year or so we've had 0 incident of maritime piracy. And then on the spread of terrorism on the Beninese territory, like the colleague did say, we believe that it is essential that we set up joint patrol in that area. Unfortunately, that is yet to be done, and that is one of the dysfunctions that we have within our community. However, I'd like to say that as a sovereign nation, Benin has taken a number of measures, and the Beninese army has been deployed all over the territory along the 3 borders, and that military barracks are being built will be built as from mid-2022 with trained forces dedicated to countering terrorism. So these are national efforts that are being made to protect the affected areas. Apart from that initiative within the three borders, there is a crisis between Benin and Burkina Faso in an area called Kuala Kulu. And I think there is a court case currently on that with both countries claiming that territory. And this border was left by the colonial masters as at the time they were leaving without any particular legal status. With respect to elections, this has to do with political parties. We have only 5 political parties that took part in elections. And this does not in any way belittle our internal democratic process. We believe that this is democracy at work and other countries should follow suit. Benin initially had over 300 political parties, and we believe that it was too much of a chaotic situation, and that it wasn't going to augur well for our democratic process. And so we believe that with the 5 political parties, every segment of society will be represented. And so all parties came together. My party, the Progressive Union, is first because we had the largest number of seats at the National Assembly and also Municipal Council. And we had hundreds of political parties since independence, and then the party of my colleague Honorable Bida here is the same thing. There are a number of political actors in that party that have been active on the political landscape since independence. So many of these political parties merged to come up with what we have today. And so today, I think there are altogether 12 political parties. And so we said that for any political party to survive, you need at least 15 founding members of the political parties, prominent persons. And that is why it's very difficult today when you don't have the capacity to convince all Beninese to vote for you or to register with your party. So this limits the number of political parties. And then with number of votes, we have decided perhaps to remove some seats, whether at the National Assembly or at the Municipal Council. We said that every political party should have won 10% of votes cast. And so at the end of the municipal elections, only 3 political parties got the required 10%. And this is also linked to the capacity of each political party to be represented in every municipal area. And so the more you are represented at the municipal area, the more votes you get. And so in terms of mechanism, this eliminates redundant political parties in the country. And then once you have made the 10% at the national level, and then at the municipal area, you also need 10%. Take a political party like mine, which is the first. Even we obtain 10% at the national level. If we get to the municipal areas, if we get to any municipal area, we can't get the 10%, then we cannot compete in that municipal area. So that is how it goes. And this helps to bring together major parties in the country, and that is how we do. That's what we do to bolster democracy. That's what we did in the 1990s, and that was how we organized the national conference in that country. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Head of Delegation. Mr. Speaker, I would also like to add that our reforms did not outlaw multi-party democracy. It is very active and alive in Benin with respect to the electoral law. It is proportional. It is an election of list. The novelty is like what is obtained in Ghana. You need a national threshold. With respect to microcredit, it is just an initiative to support the most economically vulnerable segment of the society. And so this sector has been computerized. There is a census that was carried out, and all the beneficiaries receive direct transfer through electronic means. So it's a revolutionary process, and it's easy. With respect to sponsorship, like in many countries of the sub-region, if you want, for instance, to contest for the post of the presidency of the Republic, you need at least a 10% sponsorship. All MPs, all mayors can sponsor. So it could be a mix of 10% of these colleagues who must sponsor you for your candidature to be able to be validated. With respect to tenure limits, my colleague from Guinea wanted to know, henceforth, in the Republic of Benin, as from the election of 2023, if you are elected as an MP, whatever the circumstance that throws you up, you cannot be president for more than 3 times in your lifetime. Twice. Nobody can be a president more than twice in their lifetime. Is the same for an MP. As from 2023, you cannot be elected more than 3 times for as an MP in that country. And then my colleague from Nigeria asked, Benin is a producer of pineapple. Every day, if you go to Krake-Wake border, you'll see trucks conveying pineapple to Nigeria. For Europe, it's another market. And so we believe that we are quite capable of feeding the sub-region. So we have very strong production of pineapple. So we have that. We also have grains with respect to other questions. I think there was something about community levy. And by the next session in May, we are going to improve on this presentation, even if we give you update report, maybe you might not retain them. And so I believe that maybe in tomorrow's session also we are going to shed more light. We'd like to thank all the honorable MPs who have indicated interest in the report of Benin Republic. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Nigeria has the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I believe I'm going to start off with the issue of the electoral bill. But before I say anything on that, I would like to say that one of the responsibilities of a presiding officer is to give directions. And when the presiding officer try to make a distinction between a question and a comment, I think that was within the right of the presiding officer. That being said, a question on issue of beavers, that's the electronic voting, and was raised. Like Nigeria's position is we just presented facts. Our electoral bill, which is before the president right now, has a provision that talks about this electronic voting, electronic transmission, real time. And we're saying that's the situation we have right now. And of course, everything that just starts out the first time, there's got to be a few glitches. And of course, once we continue doing that, it'll be better. So it's not for one here to determine how it's going to work. And my colleague, the distinguished senator, also made a very important contribution that part of one of the importance of this electoral bill that's before the president also deals with the issue of direct primaries. So he made a contribution to that effect, and that's a very important contribution. And the question was raised about the status of our constitution. Well, my answer to that is that when amendments are made to any law or any constitution, what it shows is that the people, because it is for the people must have determined that there are certain situations that they want to address, and it's usually internal. So the internal situation we have in Nigeria now is that the Nigerian people feel that there needs to be an amendment of the constitution to address a lot of areas. I don't know if my colleague wants me to list all the areas that have been addressed by this. I don't think that's necessary, unless, of course, you definitely want answer to that. So my answer is that we're doing an amendment to our constitutions because we know that there are areas dealing with our social welfare, dealing with police, dealing with so many areas, dealing with women, dealing with, that we feel that should be addressed through this amendment, and that's what we're doing right now. Okay, a question was raised about the collaboration between Nigeria and other countries as regards the Gulf of Guinea, the maritime security. I have this to say. First of all, I'm happy that Nigeria is taking a leadership role in this sector because of our Deep Blue project that Nigeria launched, over $200 million worth. It is bringing fruit. This insecurity has come down in the Gulf of Guinea. Now, the question as to how each country works, I will not have that answer. But the important thing is that the security is getting better in the Gulf of Guinea, and it's because of the leadership role that Nigeria has taken. And I also like to say that the MOCA, the Maritime Organization of West Africa and Central African States, is being chaired right now by Ghana. And the SG is going to be from Nigeria, and they have a lot of things they are going to be working on. They are going to be working with Nigeria for this Gulf of Guinea. So I think that will now be for individual countries to do that, not us as parliamentarians, because I don't think there's a problem. Okay, the question was raised as to whether Nigeria will be able to meet up their proposal for 80 million, vaccination of 80 million people at the end of 2021. I don't know, but that's the proposal that Nigeria has. We'll see how that goes. Then so many questions were raised on the issue of the levy, the community levy. I think what's going to happen, Nigeria definitely is in arrears for months. So what we're going to do, because these are specifics, it's specifics you get from the Foreign Affairs in collaboration with ECOWAS, and attempts were made to get the specifics on this. So they're supposed to get back to us on that. So that's why when Nigeria presented our report, we didn't have specifics. Not that we had specifics and we chose not to convey that. This is a matter of public information, but we're just waiting for them to give us those facts so we can relay the facts to the parliament. We're not going to talk off our head. So we're going to give us what the facts are. So that's the situation. I think that has taken care of all the questions raised. So thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. With the kind permission of my colleagues, maybe because we're moving into an election year, normally every country within the subregion is worried when it comes to constitutional amendment, and the fear is that whether possibly, I want to believe, we're moving towards that term. Nigeria don't have that in their agenda. I chaired the constitutional review in the House of Representatives, The thematic area that we're addressing is giving autonomy to our local government system. This is one of the attempts so that they will be workable, bringing government closer to the people, and then giving judiciary autonomy. This is one other area that we thought the president had given an order, executive order, but the executive order does not address the areas in terms of lawmaking. So it is the responsibility of the National Assembly to address some of the areas like this so that we'll have a better society. And all we are doing is to bring government closer to the people and then making laws that are going to address issues like terrorism that are embedded in the Constitution and many other areas that are there. These are the areas that we're working on. And I want to believe that the Parliament here have the right to know what we are doing so that we move as one system. Thank you very much. Maybe the last that I will mention as to how Nigerian government intend to achieve. Just yesterday, if you read through our dailies today, you will see how Nigerian workers were banned from entry into Secretariat. Reason that they must be show evidence of vaccination. This is one of the campaign that's going place, and no person will be allowed into entry into public area without evidence of vaccination. I believe if we go on this line and on this lane, we'll be able to make remarkable improvement and achievement as to the goal of vaccinating this number of persons. Thank you very much. Colleagues, I want to believe that the answers given. Okay, we still have one? Thank you. Burkina Faso. Benin Republic.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's just to inform colleagues. Yesterday, the Speaker put in place another committee on the Vision 2050 report.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and I appreciate to the country that have presented their reports. I hereby submit the report for adoption by the plenary. Adopted? Thank you. Respected colleagues, in accordance with the plenary of yesterday, 1st December 2021, the sitting of the AHDU Committee on the ECOWAS Vision 2050 project meeting at the said committee will commence this afternoon. And I want to, again, for the sake of emphasis, repeat the names as were announced yesterday by the Speaker. Honorable Bida Yusuf Abrahamani, Honorable Modibea Otara, Honorable Kumu Nuhu, Honorable Usmani Idi Ango, Honorable Sakande Raini Betele. Sorry, pardon me. Honorable Ramatu Isa Mayaki, Honorable Chamo Majuba, Honorable Ami Aseni, Honorable Alipu Sinanu, Honorable Ogene Ego, Honorable Orlando Pereri, Honorable Khalifa Sidi, Honorable Ajibola Spain, Honorable Kola Oletayo, Honorable Abiante. These are the members for the Committee on 2050 Vision. Thank you. Tomorrow's session will be devoted again for country report, and the following countries are to submit for deliberation: Senegal, Guinea-Bissau, and Sierra Leone. I think that the agenda is exhausted. Sitting stand is adjourned to tomorrow, 10 a.m. Yeah, Alice.